a person built a weapon. This weapon could destroy an entire city. Would he feel proud? Or would he feel regret? J. Robert Oppenheimer answered this question with his whole life. He was a smart scientist and teacher. During World War II, he led a team of scientists to build the atomic bomb. This bomb ended the war, but it also took the lives of more than 100,000 people. In the years that followed, Oppenheimer could never escape the feeling of deep regret inside his heart. This is a story about science, war, power, and knowing right from wrong. J. Robert Oppenheimer was born in the United States. He was a very smart child. He liked science and rocks. He went to college. He studied the science of matter and energy. He traveled to Europe to learn more. He met many great scientists there. He became a teacher at a university. He taught the science of matter and energy at the University of California. He was not a normal teacher. He was very thin. He smoked a lot. He thought very hard about big ideas. He worked on the study of very small things. For example, atoms. Oppenheimer had a busy mind. He also had a hard personal life. He met a woman. Her name was Jean Tatlock. She was a doctor. She was also sad and troubled. They had a romantic time together. But Oppenheimer later married another woman. Her name was Kitty. Kitty was a scientist, too. She had a strong character. They had a son and a daughter. Oppenheimer's family life was not always easy. He worked very long hours. He thought about science all the time. In the late 1930s, World War II began. Germany was a big enemy. Many scientists in Europe ran away from Germany. They came to the United States. They were afraid. They knew that German scientists were working on a terrible new weapon. That weapon was the atomic bomb. The bomb would work by splitting the center of an atom. This sends out a huge amount of energy. One famous scientist, Albert Einstein, wrote a letter to the American president. The letter said that Germany might make an atomic bomb. The letter said the United States must make one first. The president read the letter. He agreed. He started a secret project. It was called the Manhattan Project. The goal was to build an atomic bomb before Germany did. The army needed a smart scientist. He would lead the project. They chose Oppenheimer. Many people were surprised. Oppenheimer had never won a top science prize. He had not run a big team before, but he was very smart. He understood big problems. He could talk to many different scientists. He could make them work together. Oppenheimer chose a secret place for the lab. It was in the desert of New Mexico. The place was called Los Alamos. It was a small town on top of a flat mountain. The Army built a full laboratory there. Scientists from all over came to work. They were people who studied matter and energy, chemicals, and building things. They had to leave their universities. They could not tell their families where they were going. Life at Los Alamos was very hard. The scientists worked day and night. There were many problems. The bomb was hard to build. They had two designs. One was a big gun. It shot two pieces of a special metal together. The metal was called uranium. That bomb was called Little Boy. The other was a round ball. It was made of another special metal. That metal was called plutonium. It needed a special explosion to crush it. That bomb was called Fat Man. The Fat Man design was harder to make. The team at Los Alamos had many smart people. One of them came from Italy. He built the first machine. This machine made a controlled atomic reaction. Another scientist was in charge of the theory group. He did the hard math for the bomb. There was also a very young scientist. He was very funny. He helped with the math. He also helped with the safety of the lab. Another scientist gave a series of talks. He taught the new scientists about the bomb. These talks were later put into a small book. This small book explained the basic ideas of the bomb. All the scientists had to read it. Oppenheimer worked very hard. He was the boss. Everyone asked him questions. He had to make big decisions. He was very tired. He lost weight. He smoked even more. But he kept going. He told the scientists something. They had to finish the bomb. They had to do it before the war ended. He also had to work with the Army. The Army had its own boss at Los Alamos. His name was General Leslie Groves. Groves was a big, heavy man. He was not a scientist, but he was very good at building things. He had built the Pentagon before. That is the big Army building in Washington. Groves and Oppenheimer worked together. They were very different, but they both wanted to finish the bomb quickly. In 1945, the war in Europe ended. Germany gave up. The scientists heard the news. They felt happy, but then they felt confused. The main enemy, Germany, did not have a bomb anymore. So why keep working? The answer was Japan. Japan was still fighting. The war in the Pacific was still going. The American leaders wanted to end it fast. They thought the bomb might work on Japan. The scientists continued their work. They made a plutonium bomb. They needed to test it. The test was called Trinity. It happened on July 16, 1945. The place was a desert area. It had a Spanish name. The name means Journey of the Dead Man. It was a dark and quiet night. The scientists put the bomb on top of a tall tower. They moved far away to a shelter. They were very nervous. No one knew if the bomb would work. Some scientists thought it might not work. Other scientists worried about a bigger danger. They thought it might set the air on fire. It might destroy the world. Oppenheimer waited. He was very tense. He said a line from an old poem. The countdown began. Then a huge flash of light came. It was brighter than the sun. it turned night into day. A big ball of fire rose in the air. A big cloud went up into the sky. It was shaped like a mushroom. The ground shook. The sound came later. It was a very loud roar. The bomb worked. The scientists were amazed. Some were happy. Some were scared. Oppenheimer saw the cloud. He thought another line from the poem. He thought, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." He felt a deep sadness. He saw the power of his creation. He knew this power would change the world forever. The test was a success. The army was very happy. They now had 2 bombs. The first was the uranium bomb. They did not test that one. They were sure it would work. The second was the plutonium bomb. They had tested that one. The new American president, Harry Truman, made a decision. He wanted to end the war. He wanted to save American lives. He did not want to invade Japan. An invasion would kill many soldiers. So he ordered the use of the atomic bomb. On August 6th, 1945, an American plane flew over a Japanese city. The city was called Hiroshima. The plane dropped the uranium bomb. It was called Little Boy. The bomb exploded above the city. It destroyed almost everything. More than 80,000 people died right away. Many more died later from burns and sickness. 3 days later, on August 9th, 1945, another plane took off. The weather was bad. The first target city was cloudy. The pilot chose a second target. It was the city of Nagasaki. The plane dropped the plutonium bomb. It was called Fat Man. It exploded over Nagasaki. About 40,000 people died right away. Japan gave up on August 15th, 1945. World War II was over. The people in the United States were very happy. They celebrated in the streets. They thanked the scientists. They said the bomb saved many lives. Oppenheimer did not celebrate. He felt very bad. He saw the pictures of the destroyed cities. He saw pictures of the burned people. He knew that his bomb had killed thousands of children, women, and old people. He felt deep regret. He tried to push the feelings away, but they stayed with him. After the war, Oppenheimer became very famous. He was a hero to the American public. His face was on magazines. He gave speeches. He met the president, but he was not happy. He went to see President Truman. He told the president, "I have blood on my hands." The president was angry. He did not like Oppenheimer's sadness. Truman told him, "The blood is on my hands, not yours." But Oppenheimer kept feeling bad. Oppenheimer started to speak against more bombs. He had built the first bomb. But now, the United States wanted to build a much bigger bomb. That bomb would be 1,000 times stronger. It would work by joining the centers of atoms together. The sun works this way to make light and heat. This new bomb would use the same process. It would make a very big explosion. Oppenheimer said no. He said the army did not need such a big bomb. He said it would start a dangerous weapons race with Russia. The race would never end. He said the United States should work for peace. Other scientists disagreed with Oppenheimer. One of them was Edward Teller. Teller was a scientist at Los Alamos. He was very smart, but he was hard to work with. He wanted to build the big bomb very badly. He did not care about the danger. He thought the United States needed that bomb. It would keep them safe from Russia. Teller and Oppenheimer became enemies. Later, Teller spoke against Oppenheimer at a government hearing. Many scientists never forgave Teller for that. Oppenheimer's ideas made powerful people angry. The army wanted more weapons. The government wanted more bombs. They did not like a famous scientist speaking against them. They decided to attack Oppenheimer. In 1954, the government held a secret hearing. They wanted to take away Oppenheimer's special permission. That permission let him see secret papers. They said Oppenheimer might be a risk. They looked into his past. They found old things. He had friends who were communists in the 1930s. Communists were people who followed a political system from Russia. Jean Tatlock, his old girlfriend, was a communist. Oppenheimer was never a communist. He was not loyal to Russia. But the government used this against him. The hearing was held in a small room. It was not a real court. There was no jury. One army lawyer, Roger Robb, asked him many hard questions. Roger Robb was very mean. He made Oppenheimer look bad. He asked about Jean Tatlock. He asked about old conversations. He tried to show that Oppenheimer was a liar. Robb also asked about Oppenheimer's talks with other scientists. He tried to find any small mistake. He wanted to break Oppenheimer's spirit. Oppenheimer answered all the questions. He was honest. He told the truth about his past. But it did not matter. The men on the board did not like him. They did not like his big ideas. They did not like his sadness about the bomb. They decided to take away his special permission. The vote was close. Some men on the board wanted to keep his permission, but most of them voted against him. The decision was a big blow to Oppenheimer. Without that permission, he could not work for the government. He could not give advice about science or weapons. He was put in the dark. He lost his power. Many scientists were very angry. They thought it was unfair. They thought the government was wrong. But no one could change the decision. After the hearing, Oppenheimer went back to his old job. He became the head of a small research center. It was in New Jersey. He was very sad. His spirit was broken. He did not smile very much. He wrote letters. He gave a few speeches. But he was not the same man. He had built the bomb at Los Alamos. He also had a personal sadness. His daughter, Toni, was a troubled child. Later in life, she had many problems. Oppenheimer felt bad about that too. He thought he did not spend enough time with his family. His wife, Kitty, stayed with him. But their marriage was not always happy. Kitty drank too much alcohol. She was often angry. Oppenheimer tried to take care of her. But it was very hard. Oppenheimer never built another bomb. He never worked on weapons again. He spoke about the dangers of nuclear war. He wanted the world to control atomic energy. He wanted different countries to share information. He wanted peace. But not many people listened. The United States and Russia started building more and more nuclear bombs. The Cold War got worse. By the 1960s, both countries had thousands of bombs. Each bomb was much stronger than the ones dropped on Japan. The world lived under a dark cloud of fear. In 1963, the government gave Oppenheimer a prize. It was called the Enrico Fermi Award. It was for his work in science. The new president, Lyndon Johnson, gave him the prize. This was a small honor. It came many years after the bad hearing. But the government did not say sorry. They did not give his special permission back. The hurt was already done. Oppenheimer died in 1967. He was 62 years old. He died of throat cancer. He smoked very many cigarettes in his life. That probably caused the cancer. Before he died, he stayed a quiet man. He never stopped thinking about the bomb. He never stopped feeling sad about Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In his final years, Oppenheimer thought a lot about the future. He often thought about a world with many atomic bombs. He imagined a big bomb destroying the whole planet. He knew that he had opened a very dangerous door. He could not close that door. He could only hope for one thing. All people would make the right choice. But he was not sure. He felt very scared. The story of Oppenheimer is a story of science, war, power, and deep regret. It is a story about a man who changed the world, and he could never change it back.